And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is a playoff push edition of Buckets and Dimes, Nuts and Bolts Sports NBA podcast. You already know who it is. Joe Cardoza here, joined with Patrick Hillwig. Pat, playoff push time, baby. Award time. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. It's finally here. The last games of the season. There's a couple of key matchups to see who's going to make it and who's going home. You know, we got to put all the cards out on the table, man. It is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, you're right about that. But to kick things off, let's talk about that Megaton bomb that was dropped on everybody last night out in the West Coast. You had Magic Johnson resign via press conference as the president of operations for the Los Angeles Lakers. So just so you guys who've been living under a rock didn't hear about this, before Jeanie Buss, before LeBron James, he went and calls an impromptu news conference to let everybody know he is stepping down and leaving. And I mean, I watched the whole thing. It almost lasted a little bit over an hour. It was entertaining. It was up and down. I mean, this guy was like he was talking to some friends in the street. One thing that stood out to me, though, I definitely could see from the beginning of the press conference to the end him loosening up a little bit and kind of showing me the magic of old, who I haven't really seen a lot of since he took the job. What are your thoughts about this, Pat?
I think that really, I mean, and it's sad to say, but I think really the pressure just got to him. The pressure of being on a team where you sign LeBron James, which brings in a whole bunch of expectations. You got some good draft picks in there, and they couldn't perform. They couldn't do it. And who does that show against? That shows against him because he's the one. You know, he's the one that put the team together. He's the one that got LeBron in there. But what really sticks out to me is I read some stuff that said that hours before or day before or whatever, he had a conversation, sit down with LeBron about the team, about whatever's going on, and never once mentioned the fact that, hey, by the way, I'm thinking about doing this. As well as Jeanie Buss. He had a conversation with her, and neither of them, they both say that neither of them had any idea, had any inclination based on their conversation. They didn't get a feeling that, he might be there's nothing. Just out of the blue, hey, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I like this anymore. I'm just going to call somebody up and tell them to put a microphone in front of me and just tell the world because I don't feel like it. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to do it. So I think it's just crazy how it all went down. I was looking at my phone and I read it and I was like, huh? I'm like, that doesn't, what are they? And then I looked up on the TV and I was like, oh, wow, this is real?
Yeah, just the way he went down, like you said, him saying like Jeanie is my sister. I don't know about anybody else, but me and my sister have issues. We don't do cell phone text messages. We don't do phone calls. We do a face-to-face meeting, or if we're not in the same state, FaceTime. But there's never a text message about something that's serious. I just kind of feel like, I don't know, man, him kind of wanting to, almost like a passive-aggressive kind of move. You not wanting to have that conversation with the owner of the team, a person you call your sister, and you want to do her like that. And just like I said, the way he was acting during the press conference, some of it I thought was a little unprofessional. There was one point where he talks about how people were talking about the team and how next year we're going to do this and next year we're going to do that. And in his head, he was thinking, I'm not going to be here. And he laughed when he said it during the press conference. Like, just come on, man. You don't want to burn bridges. I know he's Magic Johnson, the icon, Showtime, and his business success is known by everybody. But if I'm Jeanie Buss, and I'm seeing a guy talk about how he knew when we were talking about the future a few days ago, he wasn't going to be part of it. In his head, he's laughing. I'm in my feelings. I'm taking that personal.
I agree with you 100%. As I said, those conversations, you would think something would have come up. Hey, you know what I'm thinking about? Or, hey, there's a chance. Just let somebody know. Give you a heads up. Hey, man, you know what? I might not be able to make it to that party tomorrow. But I might. You know what I mean? I might. Yeah. But I'm just going to let you know because They had all the expectations in the world that he was still going to be there. They didn't think they were going to wake up the next morning or wake up, and find all that stuff out. I mean, it was just crazy. I was blown away.
NBA Twitter was blown away. It was on fire last night.
Yes, it was.
I mean, and also, too, kudos to Jeanie Buss taking the high road. Shame me for not having it on me, but she tweeted out her thanking him for everything he did for the team while he worked for the team. She wished him continued success. Definitely not the way I would have approached it. I think I would have given a seething press conference of myself. I would have had cameras in the front lawn of my reaction. The same way he had an impromptu press conference, I'm having one in the front lawn talking about how this guy just sort of lied to my face, and now here I am. But looking forward and putting this thing forward, what's next for the Lakers? I mean, obviously, Rob Pelinka is still there. It seems to me, since he's made it it's 7 o'clock right now Eastern. He still has a job, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's still going to be the general manager there. They were talking about getting rid of Luke Walton as early as 10 a.m. this morning. That didn't happen. So now the Lakers are kind of sort of in limbo. I mean, did Magic know something we don't know? Does he know that there was no way any of these big free agents we've been talking about all season were going to go for the Lakers? So he was like, rather than stay and go through that, I'm going to get out while I can get out. I don't know. I mean, if I'm a Lakers fan or a Lakers player, I'm just all over the place today.
Well, you bring up a good point there because, I mean, you think about it. If he had knowledge that their players definitely weren't, they weren't really feeling coming there with LeBron because, they might win a championship, but, some people can't really live under the pressure that it takes to be as great as the greats are in the game. The Tom Brady's, the LeBron James.
Kobe Bryant's,
Kobe Bryant's. There's a lot of pressure on them that they put on their other teammates around them as well. And some people can't handle it. And maybe other teams, maybe other players said, kind of gave that vibe to him. I'm not sure. All I know is the Lakers, they definitely got some work to do next year. I mean, they have some talent, but it's getting them to play well together, and they played well together in spurts. The beginning of the year when LeBron was fully healthy, they were one of the top teams in the West.
Ruined everything for them.
100%. Well, and the biggest thing for me that ruined everything for them was the whole Anthony Davis thing. I think that ruined the mentality of the entire team because nobody felt like they were worth anything. Like, hey, you're just going to kick me to the side just to get this one guy? What about me? What about my family? What about what I, and I get it. It's a business. And, hey, players wake up every day and find out, oh, crap, I got traded today. Oh, I'm going to this city.
That's the way the world works.
Right.
In the sports world. And I think if I'm Jeannie Buss, I'm probably going to get in the phone and call David Griffin, the ex-GM from the Cavaliers. He won a championship in Cleveland. He knows LeBron James. I'm making a move a head coach. I'm probably going to go the route of Tyronn Lue. Again, somebody who knows Bron, but also at the same time, in my opinion, he was a pretty damn good basketball coach, Tyronn Lue. He impressed me a lot because his ability to coach LeBron James. You didn't hear a lot about rifts between the two of them when he coached LeBron. That's the kind of personality you need. And then to your point, you need to spend that whole offseason. If you know the people you're going to keep on your team, you got to build and coach those guys up. And if you're going to get rid of your Brandon Ingrams, if you're going to trade people like Josh Hart, then get rid of them. And the people that you're going to keep, you got to build up. I think Lonzo Ball was on the cusp of really taking the next step before he got hurt. I think another summer of working on the jump shot, hitting the weight room, getting as far away from your father's influence as you can. I think Lonzo Ball is ready to pop next season. So there's like you said, there's some talent there. But I'm going out and getting a new GM. I'm getting the ex-Cavaliers GM. I'm getting Tyronn Lue to come in and coach my basketball team. And we're going to figure out pretty quickly who we want to keep, who we want to get rid of. People that are part of our team, we're going to build them up.
So is it too early to give Kobe Bryant a call and see what role he wants to play in this?
Not going to happen. That guy, when you're winning Oscars and you're getting Grammy nominations and writing books,
I mean, that names get thrown around.
He coaches his daughter's AAU basketball team.
Oh yeah,
he was the whole team and Kobe were on the cover of Slam magazine a couple weeks ago. I saw some stuff about that on Twitter. That is not going to happen.
Oh, I know. Like I said, I say it jokingly just because
Oh, of course.
They already brought in one Laker great, Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Now he's leaving.
So James Worthy on line one? You tried Magic. We tried Byron Scott. James Worthy, line one.
Wait, where's Robert Horry? Maybe Robert Horry. Where's he at?
Are you there, Sam Perkins? We'll have to see, man. But definitely a mess there in Los Angeles, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But my point is, new GM, new coach, figure out what the team's going to look like. You've got to get at least one of those top tier or second tier free agents. You can't stand pat, obviously, with that squad. I really would love to know what LeBron James' thoughts are, man. It'd be a fly in the wall of the LeBron James car or LeBron James' house and see how he feels about that. Especially if it's true that he had no idea. Ooh, he's probably a lot of things. Happy is not one of them.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. I don't want to be in his shoes. Let's just put it that way, because I know that people around him right now are not happy. Because if I'm him, I'm throwing stuff. Like, I mean, that's how mad I would be if I just found out that he just up and decided. But he didn't really up and decide. I apologize. He didn't actually just up and decide. He decided a week ago, but then he just kind of made the decision today and just didn't tell anybody.
Exactly.
It's
leaves a bad
crazy
taste in your mouth, I think, if you're a Lakers fan. Talking about bad taste in your mouth, we saw two of the greats call it quits they're going to call it quits this year. We're talking about Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks and Dwayne Wade. I know you probably watched that commercial as much as I did, Pat, of that Dwayne Wade Budweiser commercials. 9 a.m. I'm at work looking at the ceiling, trying to get the dust out of my eyes after watching that commercial. But Dwayne Wade, I know for you, one of your top 3 all-time favorite players, a guy who's given all of us lots of highlights. Dirk Nowitzki proved that people from Europe aren't soft. They can play basketball. They can win at a high level, being an NBA champion. That iron leg step back jumper has never been blocked by Dirk Nowitzki and never will be. So we had 2 of the greats who called it quits, and then both of them ironically scored 30 points last night. Pretty cool. And another guy who you and I talk about all the time, and he's one of those people forget about, and then he goes off for like 40, or in last night's case, 50, and we're like, oh yeah, he's still in the league. You had Jamal Crawford last night drop a 50 spot, and being the first person to drop 50 points with 4 different teams. And you had another neat stat, too, about Jamal Crawford as well, Pat.
Yeah, I saw on there that he's the oldest player to ever score 50-plus points as well. I mean, that kid, it's crazy watching him because you would think he would be like an all-star, a starter for a team, and he's accepted that 6-man role, and he's accepted it, and he's lived up to it, and he's clearly one of them guys that can come in a game and just score, like you said.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, Jamal Crawford's an NBA Hall of Famer. I don't think it's I don't think it's a conversation. I think he deserves to be in the NBA Hall of Fame. I think his career has been that good. Like you said, accepting the role and excelling at the role has been his. The only thing about Jamal Crawford, it's a shame he never got a chance to make a really deep playoff run. I mean, he's one of those guys. He's not going to hop on the Golden State Warriors just to get a ring. A la Gary Payton. Sent a little shot to Gary Payton there with that one. I remember Gary Payton as a Sonic, not him winning a ring with the Miami Heat. But yeah, kudos to Jamal Crawford. Definitely salute and respect to Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade. More news and notes that we had. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, how we wanted to find out what in the world the Phoenix Suns doing. We kind of got a small glimmer into that, as the ex-Pistons and Pelicans GM, Jeff Bauer, is now going to be the vice president of operations for the Phoenix Suns. So maybe he can get that ship straight. They got Devin Booker out there. You and I talked about it. He's a bona fide superstar, but he needs some help. So maybe Mr. Bauer can get them on the right path. Another topic we've been talking about a lot, the NBA Players Union and the owners talking about, again, possibly lowering the age limit to 18 to enter the NBA. A couple of questions I have when it comes to that, obviously, is what does that mean for college basketball? What's the quality of play in the NBA going to look like? I remember when we started having that big influx of high school kids, it wasn't horrible basketball being played, but some of the level of play in the NBA went down a lot. And then the one thing that really sticks in my mind that I always remember, I remember when the Washington Wizards, under the leadership of General Manager Michael Jordan, picked Kwame Brown, and they did an interview with Kwame Brown. And I remember Kwame Brown, acne, out of shape. They asked him why. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm living by myself. I believe the article said he was eating Popeye's chicken 4 to 5 days a week because there was no family structure around there. What's the NBA going to do to prevent that from happening? What are they going to do as far as like off the court structure to help these kids adapt to making $2 million a year, being able to do and buy whatever you want, and having those guys make the right decisions? What kind of programs and systems are going to be implemented to prevent us from having guys that say, Papa John, 7 days last week, I don't know what else to do? That's my questions.
I agree with you 100% because when you think about it, just because you have the talent to make it in the NBA doesn't mean that you can make it in the NBA, because the NBA is not it's talent. Yeah, you got to have talent, but you got to have a lot more than talent. You got to be able to handle everything else that's going on. You got to be able to do the scheduling. You got to be ready for all that stuff. And think about it. I mean, were you ready at 18 years old? Were you ready to do that? I know there's not even a chance in hell that I was. So I think it's kind of a scary thing in a way, because there's so many kids that have talent but just aren't really NBA ready players. They're just not. They can't handle what that lifestyle is going to bring them. And then what happens? They get in the NBA, like you said, and when they had that big rush, and you just get, like you said, you get a bunch of sloppy play. You get a bunch of teams that draft these guys really high, and then they end up being nothing. I mean, granted, you could play 4 years in college and still be a bust in the NBA. That's not a guarantee.